peace, love, and empowerment, beautiful people. I pray that this video finds you well and that you are out here achieving goals, getting the job done, living your best life. LJ the Peacemaker here, doing peaceful things as always. Need peace? I got some, and I'm willing to share. So today, let's talk about the reflection. What reflection? All of life is your reflection. Life is reflecting back to you who and what you are. Now, before we get deeper into that, let's first start off with talking about the law of attraction. Now, we all know what the law of attraction is. You attract to you what you desire and what you want. However, I feel like that's really not the starting point that we need to start at. The law of attraction is universal law. So yes, ultimately we are able to attract to us what we desire, but also what we don't desire. This is a vibrational universe and it is designed to respond to us. So the first premise that we really need to take a grasp of and totally understand before we even begin to delve into the law of attraction is the fact that we are made in the image and likeness of God. That is the ultimate truth. Everything else is under that. This truth supersedes every other truth. That's the ultimate truth. The fullness of knowledge of self is that you are the image and likeness of God. Now, with that understanding, God spoke and then there was. God's pure intention, focused intention, is what brought things into existence. And in that image and likeness, we too are bringing things into existence by our words, our thoughts, and our focused intention. So the law of attraction is not this separate thing that is separate from us. It is part of our makeup and part of the divine design that all of creation responds to us like it does to God because we are in the image and likeness of God. So all of creation is responding to you like it's supposed to. And it's critical that we understand this first and foremost. Then we recognize that we're always attracting. We can't be separated from the ability to attract and to manifest because it's part of who we are as creators, as children of God, as gods and goddesses ourselves. We are able to create our reality, and whether we acknowledge that we are or not, we are creating our reality. So it's really important that we begin to get very, very clear on this truth so we understand our power. And sometimes upon, coming into the truth, we start feeling like a little stressed out and like, whoa, this is too much for me. I'm creating my reality. Everything I say, everything I do, everything that I think, it's all creating more and more, and it could be a little scary. But I want to assure you, there's nothing to fear because God is love, and God is leading you on this path. And God wants you to have everything that you desire. So all things are working together for your good as long as you are doing your best to move in the right direction. And so what's the right direction? Into the ultimate truth, into the knowing of who and what you are. So it's for us to focus our minds on learning to understand ourselves better, learning to express our feelings better, learning to manage our behaviors, our thoughts, so that they are in alignment with what we truly want, and so that we are handling our responsibility powerfully and responsibly. Because with power comes great responsibility. And once we acknowledge the true power that is within us, we can handle it responsibly. But so back to all of life being a reflection. Life is reflecting back to us who we are. And so what does that mean? It's really just looking at the law of attraction from this other angle. So, with the law of attraction, we acknowledge that we're attracting things to us. Yes. However, with understanding that life is ultimately reflecting back to us who we are, it allows us to be more empowered and to come from this stance of control, because we can control who we are, meaning our character, our habits, our responses to situations, our predominant thoughts, the predominant things that we entertain and focus our minds focus our minds on. We have complete control of that. So we are able to grab hold and take ownership of those aspects so that life can reflect to us who we are, because we're becoming who we want to be. Now, let me get into how life is reflecting back to us who we are. So if I'm mean, then life is going to be mean to me. And meaning other people may be mean, maybe situations are going to arise for me to continue to see this meanness in life, because in my core, I'm outputting this meanness. And so life is going to be mean to me because I'm mean to it, and probably to myself, and probably to other people. And I'm therefore putting that out, and the reflection of it is coming back to me. Now, if I'm stingy, if I'm selfish, then I'm reflecting those things outward. I'm projecting those things outward, and they're being reflected back to me. And so we have to understand that what we're putting out is not only about other people. We can be rude, selfish, all these things to other people. But how are we treating ourselves? Because if we're treating ourselves in a particular manner, then that is part of the defining characteristics of who we are. So if I'm always sacrificing, if I'm always depriving myself, if I'm always thinking, oh, I got to be so thrifty that I can never splurge on myself, I can never treat myself right, oh, there's too much to do, I can't spend extra time on myself, I can't give myself a little time of relaxation. If I'm treating myself in this way, depriving myself, then life will deprive me. If I'm consistently operating in a state of sacrifice, then life will cause me to further sacrifice. And it's for us to acknowledge this. Life is a mirror. It's reflecting back to us. And even the people and the places, the things that we encounter, the situations, are reflecting back to us some aspect of who we are. Now, somebody might give you a nasty attitude. You might be thinking, I don't act like that. Why are they doing that to me? There is some aspect within you that has attracted that. It's reflecting back to you some aspect of yourself. It doesn't necessarily have to mean per se that you are rude, but maybe there's some responses to situations that need to be worked out within you. And that situation is arising to show you that aspect of yourself, to show you that, wait, you got a little bit of a temper. Maybe you need to work on that. So as we understand that God is love, the universe is God's creation, and by divine design, it's intended to show us the truth of who we are, it's going to cause us to have to work out every aspect of ourselves that is not in alignment with the ultimate truth, which is that we are the image and likeness of God. So every situation that arises, none of them are to hurt you. None of them are to make you feel like life's against you. None of them are to make you feel like you're alone or unsafe. These situations arise so that we can work out within us whatever it is that is not in alignment with the truth, that we are the image and likeness of God. And I know for myself, I've dealt with so much fear, so much shame, so much guilt. And in those places, it was hard for me to understand how this was me. This reflection that I'm seeing outwardly was what was going on in the core of me. But once I began to heal, I realized how broken I really, really was. And so from that broken place, I was attracting to myself broken men. My body was breaking down. My finances were broken. And consistently, it just it continued to manifest in my life, these broken things. I would hold on to like broken items. I had this jewelry box for years. It was broken. And understanding that I'm perpetuating this brokenness because I'm holding on to these broken things. And that's why healing is so important, because healing is the only thing that really allows us to remove these things. Because ultimately, there's nothing wrong with us. We are in the image and likeness of God. We've just picked up all these things, this baggage along our life's journey, and they've made us feel hurt. They've made us perceive things in a way that is not in alignment with the ultimate truth. And the ultimate truth is that we are the image and likeness of God. God got us no matter the situation. And it's for us to know that we have ultimate control of ourselves and of the life that we live. Granted, we cannot control other people in every situation, but we can always control what we're putting out so that what we desire is what is being reflected back to us. Now, once we understand that life is reflecting back to us who we are, then does that not tell us that clearly God must have intended for us to be truly who we are? Meaning the crazy, wacky little person that you are, big person that you are, was on purpose. God wants you to be authentically you to the fullest, fearlessly, so that the truth of you can be reflected back to you. And I know this because I'm learning it myself. The further I go, the more in alignment I come into with God and with my truth, the more I realize that God made me how I am. The parts that I previously used to hide, or maybe I'm not going to say that, or maybe I don't want people to think like that I'm like this or like that. Now I realize God made me like that on purpose, to show that to the world so people can see what it looks like to bless people, you know. And that's really one of my ultimate goals, to show people what true authenticity, true freedom, and someone living freely as themselves. I desire to be an example of that for you, to let you know that it is intentional that you were made like that. The part of you that you think maybe other people will not like and will not accept is not for everybody, first and foremost. But secondly, it's for you to live in your truth so that you can reflect out into the world wholeness, so you can project. I keep saying reflect in the wrong time. But anyway, so that you can project out into the world wholeness, fullness, completeness, not feeling like something's wrong with you. And as you do that, life will reflect back to you wholeness and fullness, and just these feelings of feeling good and feeling complete, because you are putting that out. So it's up to you to just be your true self, be your whole authentic self, because life is reflecting back to you all that you are. And you were intended to be all that you are to the fullest. Every part of you was wonderfully handcrafted by God on purpose, so that you could be a blessing to others. And it's for you to be brave, do the work necessary to heal, so you can step into the fullness of who you are and shine your light, because the world needs you. We need you. We need everybody to be bearers of this light. There are so many people who are losing hope and who are following things that are not to their benefit. So I'm calling you forward. Step forward into your truth. Live in your truth fearlessly. Acknowledge that you are a powerful being who is creating your reality. You are attracting all that you put out and all that you project back to you. And life is a reflection of who you are. So design who you want to be. Be that person. We are constantly able to change. So we're never stuck in a certain place. We always have the capacity to revamp, rework, restructure, and to step into higher and higher degrees of truth, into higher and higher degrees of godhood. And that's what life is all about. You going on this journey of knowledge of self, growing and continuing to transform, and allowing abundance to be reflected back to you, allowing love to be reflected back to you. And you do that by becoming these things, acknowledging that As you love others, then you will have love reflected back to you. As you acknowledge the wonderful things in your life, the aspects where abundance is, and you begin to focus on those and feel that sense of gratitude, then abundance will be reflected back to you in equal measure. So you got the power. You're in control, and don't accept anything that you don't want out of life. Granted, you see things that occur and they may not be what you desire. However, all of the things that have already manifested are reflections of the past. So we've already put out that energy, and it's caused to come back to us what we see at present. So the things you see at present pretty much are already finished. That's old news. That's old energy that you put out. In this moment, you can put out new energy. And it's up to you to do that. If you don't like what you see around you, then change your energy. Change the vibration. Change what you're saying. Change what you're speaking. Change the energy that surrounds you. You get to create a new atmosphere around you. Put on music that makes you feel happy. Start watching things that have more of a positive message. Surround yourself with things that are going to uplift, encourage, and inspire you so that you are projecting that sort of energy outward, and it will be reflected back to you. I pray that this blesses you and that you recognize that you are the image and likeness of God. That is the ultimate truth, and nothing supersedes that. So therefore, the power is always in your hands, and life is reflecting to you who you are. Get clear on who you are and who you want to be, and start putting that into action. And remember, if you have a bucket and you put a drop in it every day, then your bucket will inevitably overflow. So as you begin to really clarify and fine-tune who you want to be, put drops in your bucket that are in alignment with that person. And inevitably, you will be overflowing with those qualities and those characteristics, because that's the way it works. Life is reflecting back to you all that you are. So go out and be your wonderful, magical, phenomenal, amazing, glorious self. I thank you so much for your time. I love you so, so much. LJ the Peacemaker, eradicating poverty, one thought at a time. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.